Hello class, this is topic 2-1, Systems Applications for Algebra 1. We're going to set up a system of equations and then solve for the system. So, this is similar to what we did in the last unit where we had systems of equations and solved. The difference is that now we have word problems. So as we read the word problems, we're going to need to do these 4 steps. The first thing is identify the two variables, then come up with our two equations, determine which method we want to solve the equation, and then solve for it. So we look and we see that there are 22 students in a classroom. And we know that there are 12 more girls than boys. First thing we're going to do is identify the two variables. Well, that would be girls and boys. So G for girls and B for boys. So now we need our two equations. Well, we know there are 22 students in the classroom. And we know that those students are composed of both girls and boys. So it would be G plus B. Now we know there are 12 more girls than boys. So 12 plus something equals the other thing. And I know that one of these is boys and one of these is girls. Well, I'm looking at this, and girls are the bigger amount. So I don't want to do 12 plus the girls. I want to do 12 plus the boys, because the boys, they need their numbers increased to match the girls. So now we have our two equations. Which method is best? Well, I have G already solved for over here. So substitution is the best. Let's go ahead and work this out. Remembering substitution, we already know that G equals 12 plus B. I'm going to take that, I'm going to replace it in this other equation. So starting with 22 plus G, 22 equals G plus B. We're going to replace G. So 22 equals 12 plus B. Plus B. Now there's nothing around these parentheses, so I can ignore the parentheses. 22 equals 12 plus B plus B. We have two of those. So 22 equals 12 plus 2B. Then I want to subtract the 12 on both sides to get B by itself. So we get that 10 equals 2B. So we divide both sides by 2, and we get that B equals 5. Right. So we now know that B equals 5. Let's look back at our question. It says find the number of boys and girls. So I know boys, it means I need to find girls, so I'm going to plug that back into this equation. 12 plus B equals G. 12 plus 5 equals G. So 17 equals G. So there are 5 boys and 17 girls. Not very many boys in this classroom. Most of the class happens to be girls. And if you read this, it makes sense that there are 12 more girls than boys. There's a lot more girls than there are boys. So this is correct. Now, had you gotten this and they'd be switched, and you reread the problem to make sure that it makes sense, 12 more girls than boys, if you had boys as 17 and girls as 5, you would know that you probably had these switched. Let's go ahead and work out number 2. So as we're reading it, we want to identify our two variables. Well, Jamie has twice as much money as Kristen. So that means we're going to use J and K. Now we look at this. It says that J has, so J equals twice as much money as Kristen. And so from the first sentence, we have our first equation. Look at the second one. Together, that means that J plus K, they have $36. Notice how has gave me the equal sign and have gave me the equal sign. All right? You can use those words to try to determine where your equal signs go. Now I'm looking at this and I see that J has already been solved for. So I'm going to use this and replace it into here. So this goes into there. So 2K plus K, well, that equals 36. This makes 3K equals 36. Divide them both by 3, and I get that K equals 12. Now the question is, how much money do they each have? Well, because I know K, I need to find J. So J equals 2K. So J equals 2 times 12. So J equals 24. Jamie has $24. And Kristen only has 12. And so that's our answer. Let's go ahead and take a look at number 3. Now there's only 2 examples left, so if you want to pause and try to solve these on your own and then double check, that would be a good time to do that, or you can just continue to follow along. We're going to read and search for our variables. Well, it says Anthony rode his bike 3 times as far as Bobby. So we've got Anthony and Bobby. Well, Anthony rode, that's a verb, so I'm going to put my equal side, his bike 3 times as far as Bobby. It also says that Anthony rode 16 miles further than Bobby. Well, I've already got A solved for right here, so I'm going to plug this 3B into that A. So I get that 3B equals 16 plus B. Get all of my B's onto one side, so I subtract B on both sides. I get that 2B equals 16. I divide them both by 2. We get that B equals 8. But the question isn't how far Bobby rode, it's how far did Anthony ride. So we need to plug this back into either equation. And 3 times 8 is 24. So Anthony rode 24 miles. Okay, we don't need to write down what Bobby wrote. It's not part of our answer. The only thing it asked for was Anthony. So, that's problem number 3. Last problem, last chance to do it on your own, or you can just follow along again. We're going to look at this one. It says a pet shop at the mall has a combination of 15 cats and dogs. So we have cats and we have dogs. Well, there are 15 of them, so 15 must equal the cats plus the dogs. Now it says there are 4 times as many cats as dogs. So 4 times something equals something. And I want to know which goes where. I know that one of these is cats and one of these is dogs. Well, 4 times as many cats as dogs means the cats don't need to be multiplied, the dogs do. So 4D equals C. Alright? Again, if you get numbers that don't make sense later, you'll be able to double check that. So we have that C equals 4D. C's already solved for, so I'm just going to plug that into here. So 15 equals 4D plus D. So 15 equals 5D. Divide them both by 5, and D equals 3. There are only 3 dogs. Well, that's what it's asking. He wants to know how many cats we have. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to plug this back in, and so 4 times 3 equals C. 12 equals C. That means that there are 12 cats. And that is topic 2-1 over systems applications. All of these use substitution, so hopefully you remember that. If not, this will give you very good practice for using substitution to solve problems. Have a good afternoon, and good luck on the assignment.